All right, everybody set? Yes? Good, good, good. Well, good afternoon. As you all know, this week we started launching New Direction New Orleans, which of course is the transition process to make sure that on day one, I'm ready to take office, and as we've always said, start taking our city in a new direction. The transition team will ultimately be responsible to ensuring that I am able to implement my plans, my vision for our city, and to really be able to hit the ground running on day one. They're also going to be responsible for making sure that I'm able to hire the very best and brightest to serve the people of this city. They will, of course, be tasked with some major items, and that includes, as I mentioned, to identify top talent. They will be the ones who are going to talk about and figure out how to develop actionable policies and ultimately operational excellence. And the other big piece is also the public engagement part, because I do want the public to be able to weigh in on what we're doing during the transition process. So the residents across the city will actually be part of being able to help us find these solutions. So as I always do, I like to build very diverse coalitions. And so that is what I will be doing for my entire transition team, beginning, of course, with the chairs of the transition, along with our executive director. So today I will be announcing who the co-chairs are, along with our executive director. I have 4 co-chairs. That includes our former Congressman, Cedric Richmond, former Judge Desiree Charbonnet, Emily Arata, former Deputy Mayor for Mitch Landrieu, Ryan Berger, a longtime community advocate and business leader. And then, of course, our executive director will be none other than the amazing Renee Laparoulari, who, of course, helped manage my winning campaign. I'll turn it over first to Cedric Richmond. Let me actually just say a little bit about each one of the co-chairs. So first, Cedric Richmond, he really doesn't need any introduction. We all know Cedric. Not only is he a friend, but he is our former congressman. He was former advisor to United States President Joe Biden, and also helped lead a presidential transition team. So I figure he's going to get this one down pretty well. And then the other person, of course, is my friend Desiree Charbonnet, former municipal court judge, someone who I worked with on many public safety issues for quite some time. And then the next person I want to introduce is Emily Arata. Emily Arata was the deputy mayor for Mayor Mitch Landrieu, did a lot of great work on really working to come in and deal with a budget deficit when Mayor Mitch Landrieu came in and figured out how to reorganize government and really create efficiencies within government. So she's going to be a great asset as one of the chairs for the transition team. And then also Ryan Berger. Ryan is someone who I met really working on a variety of different job and economic opportunities here in our city, but also really is someone who is very passionate about ensuring that we have enough opportunities for our youth here in the city of New Orleans. So I thought that he was a really a great partner in that, and someone who would be a great asset also as one of the chairs. And then, as I mentioned already, Renee Laparoulari, someone who has worked in many government capacities and also in the private sector for quite some time. But most recently I brought her in, when was that? I guess about January or so? Yeah, about January, brought her in to lead and manage my campaign, and certainly was incredibly successful at that. So with that, let me bring up our first co-chair, and that is Cedric Richmond.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor, and I will try my best to kind of stay on some sort of script. It's hard for me. Let me just say this from my experience with transition. Transition takes on the personality, the life, the goals of the winning candidate. And in this case, what you will see in transition is Mayor-elect Moreno's fingerprints on it, and not just from a political standpoint, but who she is, what she's fighting for. And the first thing that stood out to me was that she absolutely wants us to know who we work for, and that is the citizens of New Orleans. And so as we approach transition, we want the citizens to know that we know exactly who we're working for and who we're working on behalf of. And that's to make the life better for every person that's in this city, and to create a type of city that will bring our sons and daughters and our families back home with excitement to this amazing city. So I just want to thank you, Madam Mayor, for giving me, Mayor-elect, for giving me this opportunity to help guide a city that's given me so much. And I just am ecstatic that I get to help shape this next mayoral administration, one that is looking to do it with inclusivity, one that is looking to lift up every neighborhood. And I think that when you hear the mayor talk and you hear all of us collectively, you will hear us talking about an economy that's open to everyone, an economy that lifts everyone up, and one that will focus on every factor. So it means investing in our youth. That means strong summer job initiatives, career pathways, mentorships that connect young people with opportunity. You will also hear us focus on workforce development, growing our small businesses, growing our small and disadvantaged businesses, our DBEs, so that they have real access to city contracts. And that's how you grow a city, that's how a city prospers, and that's how the people within a city prosper. So when we talk about this new administration, we talk about Helena Moreno, we're talking about her commitment to opportunity for all. And you'll hear us stress that over and over again, because the biggest compliment you can give an elected official is that they get it. And if you look at the mayor-elect's experience over the last 8 years on the council, she gets it. She gets the frustrations of citizens. She gets the excitement of the opportunity of building this city back. And so I am very proud to stand here as a co-chair and embark on this awesome journey of building a city that the constituents want, building a city that we can be proud of, building a city that cares for everyone, building a city that took me from being a bad little kid to the White House. And so we have so many people in this city that with the right hug, with the right kick, or with the right nurturing and watering, will become the next great leaders in this country, the next great business people in this country. And so I'll close with this. We have some of the most creative people in the world here, whether it's music, whether it's food, whether it's the arts. We have some of the whether it's business, we have some of the most creative people. And if we continue to support them and nurture them and create a city government that supports them, then we're going to continue to lead this country in not only the arts, but also in business and opportunity, and the number one thing, which is being the best city to raise a family in. And I believe this transition is going to execute on all of those. So thank you, Madam Mayor, for including me.
Appreciate you. Another thing I need to mention about Cedric is that when he worked for the president, he was actually the one who was really the person to engage with when it came to the opportunities in business and commerce. And so that level of experience on such a national level, to have someone like that now on my transition team, to be able to engage with the business community, to be able to really figure out what are those great opportunities that we could capture right here in New Orleans, I think is going to be such a great plus. All right, with that, I'll turn it over to Desiree Sharpen.
Good afternoon, everyone. And Helena, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to work with you on transition. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. It is my distinct honor to serve as a co-chair on this transition team and to help shape the future of this city, a city that's healthier and that's safer, but not just for some, as she has said so many times, but for everyone. As a former judge, I have a passion for justice reform and public safety, and I'm excited to work with this transition committee, especially those that will focus on the issues of public safety. But public safety is just not about enforcement. It's about prevention, opportunity, and trust. And we know from polling during the campaign that next to infrastructure, public safety was first and foremost on the minds of the citizens. So it's important that we focus on what the people want, what they want to see improved. Helena also understands that crime doesn't just occur out of the blue or from nowhere. It doesn't occur because of no reason. It grows from unmet needs, lost opportunities, systems that fail our youth and families. That's why we're focused on community prevention, effective policing, collaboration between residents, nonprofits, and law enforcement. We will design actionable plans that expand youth programs, increase summer jobs, and create new partnerships to give young people alternatives and hope. Because when we invest in our young people, we invest in public safety and in the future of the wonderful city of New Orleans. So together, we're going to make our neighborhoods stronger, our city safer. Again, not just for some, but for everyone who calls New Orleans home. I say this from the bottom of my heart as a born and raised New Orleanian. New Orleans, I know you, and I am here for you, and I will do everything I can as a member of this transition team to improve public safety and make everyone feel comfortable and as safe as possible in this city. I'm happy to be a part of this committee, and I'm excited to work with these phenomenal people. Thank you.
Another quick side note also on Desiree Charbonnet. So Desi and I first met, I don't know, about 10 years ago or so. I was still in the legislature and I was working on issues of domestic violence. And Desi, being a municipal court judge, she very often was dealing with victims and survivors of domestic violence, along with, of course, the offenders. And she invited me to sit in court with her to see how some of the laws were being applied, what was working and what was not. And what I really appreciate about Desi is that she understands that even issues that some might not take seriously, like domestic violence, something that I believe should always be taken seriously, she has always understood the severity of this type of crime and understood that violence within home leads into violence within community. And so I just have always appreciated just the level of just really understanding just the different nuances of what's really happening with crime in our city. And I think that's going to be a really key piece of knowledge that you're going to bring to this entire transition team that's very important. The next person I want to introduce is Emily Arata, former deputy mayor for Mitch Landrieu and now part of the Ochsner executive team. Emily, come on.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Mayor-elect Moreno, for the opportunity to be a part of this. It's truly an honor to serve alongside this committee and the transition team that you're putting together. You know, we all have a couple things in common, and that is we love the city of New Orleans. We believe in Helena's vision, and we're also ready to get to work. In fact, the work has already begun because we know that in just 90 days, Mayor-elect Moreno will become Mayor Moreno. And this transition will be successful if we accomplish, or when we accomplish, three things. Number one, she walks into City Hall on day one surrounded by a diverse and talented team of professionals that are ready to get to work serving the people of this city. You know, second, she has a 100-day plan that's actionable and that will guide the administration's work to deliver results with urgency. And then third, you know, as part of the transition, we want to ensure that community priorities become the administration's priorities through meaningful civic engagement. That's something that Mayor-elect Moreno has always been committed to, and that this transition is very committed to as well. And to that end, you know, in the coming weeks, you'll see Mayor-elect Moreno announce a series of transition committees made up of civic, community, business leaders who will advise the transition and the next administration on policies and initiatives to take on to tackle our toughest challenges. And also to ensure that every resident is invited to be a part of the conversation and to have a voice. You know, the transition and the transition teams will host community meetings, community workshops, listening sessions, and also launch a community survey. One of the hallmarks of Mayor-elect Moreno's tenure in public service has been her ability to build broad coalitions to rally around a common mission and then work together to get it done. And that is certainly going to be one of the hallmarks of the New Direction New Orleans transition, and that is civic engagement, and coalition building. So, I think I speak on behalf of the team when I say we're ready to get to work. Thank you.
Yes, we are.
What I also appreciate about Emily is that she shares my same work ethic. I actually saw this when she was working for former Mayor Landrieu. I mean, they're early at night, they're late at night. And what I very much appreciate about her, and we share this in common, is that don't tell me no why it can't be done. Tell me how we're going to figure out a path to get something done. And that's always been my way of thinking, and that's how Emily thinks as well. And so just thank you for being part of this team. The next person I want to introduce is Ryan Berger.
Thank you, Mayor-elect Moreno. I'm honored to serve as part of your transition effort, and I'm excited to work closely with my fellow co-chairs and with the various transition committees, especially those focused on infrastructure and city services, things we all rely on every single day. As a business owner and as a resident, I know firsthand how challenging working with City Hall can be. Whether permitting, inspections, notice of road work, or simply getting a response, issues with city service affect us all, every resident and every employer, from small businesses to major corporations. This transition brings together a diverse group of civic, community, and business leaders to tackle the city's challenges head on. Our goal will be to identify solutions that streamline processes like safety and permits so the city can be a partner in growth, not a barrier to it. We will call on experts from across industries, from the cultural economy to the port, and from health sciences to the tech sector to lead these specialized committees. But this is about much more than just business. As a father of 2 young New Orleanians, I want to see a city that collaboratively invests in recreation, safety, and opportunity for its young people. This transition is about transforming vision into action and systems into service. For when city services work, families can thrive. I once again want to thank Mayor-elect Moreno for including so many voices in this transition process, and I'm excited to help lay the groundwork for a city that truly delivers for its people every single day.
Thank you, Ryan. And Ryan has certainly always been one of the community leaders who, yes, he has told me about different issues within City Hall, but the other part of it is he would always suggest different solutions. And so I've always appreciated that about you, Ryan. Thank you. And the last person I want to introduce, last but certainly not least, is Renee Laperoulerie, who will be serving as the Executive Director for our transition team.
Thank you, Madam Mayor-elect. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm incredibly proud to serve as the Executive Director of Mayor-elect Helena Moreno's transition. First, I want to thank her for entrusting me with this important role, and I'm deeply honored to be working alongside such an outstanding group of co-chairs. This is an exceptional team, experienced, thoughtful, and deeply committed to building a city government that works for everyone. We've moved quickly and seamlessly from campaign mode into transition mode. We're 24/7 mode. Because as the mayor-elect has said, this is about being ready on day one to deliver results for the citizens of New Orleans. Our transition is already up and running, and I want to encourage everyone to visit our website at newdirectionnola.com. That's where residents can sign up to stay informed about the work of the transition and find ways to get involved. Right now, people can sign up to receive notices about job postings, and soon we'll launch an online feature that will allow applicants to apply directly for positions in the administration. Our transition will set the standard for the professionalism, transparency, and accountability that New Orleanians can expect at City Hall under Mayor Moreno's leadership. Finally, I want to extend our sincere thanks to our partners here at the Greater New Orleans Foundation, which is serving as the fiscal agent for the transition. Thank you to Andy Copeland and the entire team here for your support, your partnership, and your ongoing work to make this city stronger and more equitable. Together, we're laying the groundwork for a government that works with urgency, compassion, and operational excellence for every neighborhood in New Orleans. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee, and thank you, Andy, so much for your partnership with the Greater New Orleans Foundation. All right, so just so everyone understands kind of next steps, what you'll be seeing from the transition team over the next few days is we'll be announcing a variety of different committees that'll be tackling some of the city's greatest issues right now. Everything from public safety to the budget to city services to ensuring that we create opportunities for all, NORD, I can go on and on. And so those will begin to be getting announced. Also, obviously, I have to hire some very key positions, and so we will be doing searches for that, which we'll start announcing tomorrow. But overall, we are working nonstop to make sure that I am ready on day one to start moving our city forward. And, you know, it's interesting because even though I have this additional month, we're having to move really quickly. Because as you all know, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Once you get into Thanksgiving time, you know, people get very busy with the holiday schedule, then you have Christmas, so that's why we cannot waste a day. As you all saw, I started to get to work on Sunday afternoon. I knew I couldn't waste a day. And so I won't be wasting a day. We're getting everything together. Look forward to announcing much more to come, and look forward to you all being part of the process, because I will need you. I will need you to help me get information out, particularly when it comes to the public engagement piece, so that we can receive as much feedback as possible. I'm happy to take questions, but just a quick little ground rule here. Let me take the questions first that deal with the transition team. If there are any questions that are off topic, I'm happy to take those, but let me take the transition questions first, okay? Any transition team? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering if you have heard from the current administration regarding the transition, whether it's sort of efforts to coordinate that.
Sure. Yes, I have. And I've communicated with the mayor, and the mayor has made Joe Threat, the CAO, the lead person on dealing with transition. She also said that there would be a series of reports coming my way as well. Joe Threat and Renee have connected, and so we will start working on that ASAP this week.
What role do you expect to play throughout the rest of this transition?
The mayor? It's really up to her. I'm not sure. I'm certainly optimistic, though, that we'll be working with Joe Threat, because I have a very good working relationship with him, as you're probably aware. And obviously, I'll be working very closely with him on the budget as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Just like for people who may not be familiar with transitions, like the role of a co-chair, like sort of them guiding, like,
Yeah.
you may speak to more about the role of.
Sure. The reason why it's so important to have kind of the chairs and why I picked 4 is because really under each one of them, I will have different parts of transition or different committees really under their portfolio. Like Cedric, he will be responsible for like economic development and opportunities. I'm going to put city services under Emily. So there's going to be a series of different committees under each one of them. And so they'll kind of be the overseers of the different committees, making sure that everything's working right. And then, of course, my executive director just will be ensuring that the operations of transition, that all the committees are meeting on time, that they're staffed correctly, and that the work is being done, and that there's work product coming out the way I want.
Has there been any thoughts to use the deputy mayor system, sort of like what Commissioner used during his administration?
Yes, there's been definitely some thought, and part of the transition process will be to figure out the best way to organize my office and organize government.
If you utilize the deputy mayor system, you know what the departments these deputy mayors oversee, also use that system. How do you plan to pay for that, considering the city is facing a deficit right now?
Yeah, it's a little too soon to go into that. That's something that, once we go through transition, we'll be able to figure out exactly how I'll organize my office and how I'll organize city government as well.
Have you determined the subject matter areas for the transition committees? And do you already have a structure in mind, or are you open to additional transition committee ideas that might come in from your co-chairs?
Sure.
Or somebody who's a
Yeah, good question, Will. So, we have a kind of an obvious set of committees that we'll start rolling out and announcing, who's part of them and the chairs. But obviously, based on input, those could be revised, we could add. But more than anything, I think what's important is that all of these different committees will also be working in coordination and collaboration with each other. There may be some kind of cross work that happens from one committee to another. So for example, let's say we're talking about economic development, but I also have a committee dealing with music, art, culture, and film. Obviously, you see where there's a cross there. And so that'll be announced in the next upcoming days and in the next week.
And people volunteer to be a part of it.
They're all volunteers, except for Renee. Well, she's volunteering too, but also, yeah, or ED. Yeah, go ahead.
So this period is overlapping with some things still happening in city government. You are wearing two hats at this point.
Right.
City council member and mayor-elect. The budget process, are you going to be like fully involved as a council member or more as mayor? How's it going to jive?
So I have to be involved in both, and I'm very lucky to actually be involved in both. Obviously, it takes long hours and a lot of work, but I'm also very proud to have great teams all the way around. My team at City Hall and obviously my team on transition. But yes, I mean, myself and other council members, we're planning for the future. We're planning for ultimately what we need to do to create a government with real operational excellence to meet the needs of the people of this city. And so that's what we're actually all working collectively toward. Obviously, I'm going to have my ideas, and transition is going to come up with some ideas on how we can create some efficiencies to get this done.
Do you see some ideas coming out of transition ending up in this year's budget as mayor?
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I would want that, and I think, and talking to different council members, like they're actually hoping for something like that. I mean, everyone is looking for any type of assistance and guidance as to how we can create the very best government possible to meet the needs of the people of the city.
Real fast, yesterday, considering still taking on Dr. Begnell, any other positions that you might be considering? I know it's only been 24 hours.
Yeah.
The answer to that question yet. But what is that like, assessing to keep on and move it kind of place?
Sure. So first, let me just say, and we're working through this process, a standard thing that occurs from mayor to mayor, Mayor Morial did it, Mayor Landrieu did it, Mayor Cantrell did it, is that all non-civil service employees will be asked to reapply. That's just the standard, that's just how it works. Mayor Morial told me that Mayor Nagin did not do that, and it actually created problems as to people not knowing, am I supposed to come into work? Well, I don't know what happened to my job. So I will be doing the same. And so based on that, I'll be able to figure out who's like I mentioned before, the very best and brightest to fill all of the different department leadership spots and have the transition team assist with that as well. No? All right.
One of the things that happens with transition committees sometimes is the philosophical issue of whether people on a transition committee can move into the administration. Do you have an idea of that's a yes or no for you?
Look, once again, I'm about hiring the very best and brightest, so I'll leave it at that. Anybody else?
There seems to be leading a city with deep, deep mistrust in the government. So how do you plan to really rebuild that trust, even the first 100 days of office?
Yeah. Hang on one second. Anybody else have any transition committee questions? No? All right, thank y'all. I appreciate it. I'm happy to take off-topic questions. I just don't want them to stand in behind me if we're taking a bunch of, thank you, guys.
We're always behind.
Yeah, I know, they're always behind me, but. So the question that you asked was about the trust issue, which is a good one. And so what I've always said is that my administration will be very much about transparency. So what does that mean? That means ensuring that I have a really strong comms department, that I'm always talking to the public, that I make myself available or department heads available to be able to talk about issues that are important to the people of the city. But that also means when it comes to transparency, we need to have better transparency about what's happening with the city's tax dollars, particularly around contracting. And so I plan on having a lot more transparency around contracting, because right now, for some of you all who are in the media and trying to search on different contracts, you know that that portal is still pretty tricky to deal with and doesn't have a lot of the information that you may want, including who was part of the selection committees, how did they all score the different contracts, and I plan on being very transparent about that, put those types of items up on dashboards so it's very easy for not only, of course, the media to find, but also for the public to find, so that everyone can clearly see why major contracts are being chosen, how they were chosen, and that it's being done really because these were the very best contractors to serve the people of the city. Go ahead, Jonah.
As you make your transition, today we heard from the legislative auditor
Mhm.
about the deficit the city is facing, and found that was deeper than what initially expected
Yes.
or thought. As you make your transition, do you find that that deficit is going to pose some challenges for you throughout this transition at all?
It'll pose some challenges for sure, yeah. I mean, what we learned today, Jonah, from the state legislative auditor is that, you know, once we take the rainy fund dollars and put those aside, that really, all that I have left in fund balance is $8 million. So that's a real critical issue. So the reason why I talk about operational excellence is because I have to have everything be so right. We don't have time for any other type of inefficiencies. I really have to just have a very functional but government without additional bloat. And so that's why this transition team is so important. That's why I wanted the state legislative auditor to come in. I've actually asked the state legislative auditor if he could provide someone who could not be part of my budget transition team, but to potentially present and help present solutions to the transition team. Like I said, I'm willing to look at any types of options. I also asked Mike Wagasback today to take a look at additional, you know, potential savings that he sees that we could find as well.
There are a couple of questions on the November 15th ballot. I think the bond issue
Yes.
is also a turn.
I'm in support.
Okay, so is that, how important is that
Yeah.
to what you're looking at for the budget?
The bond issue, $500 million, $500 million is obviously incredibly important to me. We have to ensure that we get those dollars so that we can continue with some of the really important capital projects, really important projects as far as major infrastructure and road repair projects. And so I'll be doing whatever possible to ensure the public that I will be a good steward of those dollars and that these projects are done and are done on time, and hoping to get their support that this passes.
And are there tax increases connected to these bond issues or no?
So, well, with the specific bond issue, yes. But as you also know, we also have the proposals coming in from the mayor that are a series of different tax increases. Now, I can tell you that there doesn't seem to be appetite from the council as far as passing those, and I'm trying to ensure that we figure out different government efficiencies instead of increasing the cost of living here, because some of the things that she's proposing include rolling the millages forward, higher sanitation fee without having additional services. I think that there's other things that we could potentially do working with our state legislature, that we could draw revenue, but not having impact your everyday cost of living. For example, we don't get any revenue coming in from online gaming. And so the state gets money, but what about us? What about the local government? Also, as you know, we are paying these fines when it comes to EMPERS, the police retirement system, because we lost more than 50 officers several years in a row. And because of that, we're paying $3.8 million. It's really just like throwing money in the fire because of that penalty. So how can we figure out a path to start waiving that penalty? We need a real strategy going up to the legislative session, which I haven't seen that level of strategy for many years. And having a real strategy, working with our delegation, working with the Speaker of the House, someone who I served with, working with the Senate President, someone who I served with, on how do we really come up with a good package where the city of New Orleans can actually draw a fairer share of revenue coming into local government before we start trying to raise taxes on our people. Yep.
George Lopez has congratulated you today.
Oh, gosh.
On the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month, you being the first Latino mayor, has that kind of set in? I know it set in from my family.
Yeah. Well, obviously there's excitement all across the country and even in Latin American countries about it as well. As you know, I was born in Jalapa, and so you've got like the Jalapa newspaper, like, you know, highlighting me, and I was like, wow. And it was funny because somebody sent me the article about George Lopez, and I was like, wait, the actor? I was like, wow. And so, I mean, has it set in? I don't know. Obviously, I'm really proud about it. My family's really proud about it, but you know me, I just really just stay grounded and focused on the work. I can't get too excited about where I am or the job because there is just so, or like the job title, I guess. It's really just about, I just know there's so much work to do, and so I just really just stay kind of level set, focused on the work, and just go kind of day by day on what do we need to do today, and just really look at this as a job. Remember, the people of this city hired me to do this job. They didn't hire me just to have the title of mayor or who I am, you know, as far as like the first Latina mayor. Like, they hired me to do the job. And so that's what I'm going to do every single day, is do a job for them and treat this as a job, as the executive leading the city of New Orleans. Anything else? Thank you. All right, thank you guys, appreciate it.